I love that at a certain point in the major arcana, you notice that there are no crowns anymore, which really makes it as a certain equal ground between all living things, no matter who you are, who you think you are, where you put yourself. There are no crowns anymore at a certain point because the crown doesn't mean anything. Do I even remember how to speak English? I've been doing so many Dutch videos on my channel. Oh man, it's so weird to finally call it a channel. Guess it is. Hi, I'm back. Not feeling that great, must say. I've been really busy and kind of sick during the busy time. So haven't uploaded. But you know what? Last video I checked and I think that was like 6 days ago. So no, but I really love making videos. It's really cool. I had someone actually send me a message on Instagram saying regarding my last post where I said I was feeling kind of sick and things were jumbled up and a bit shaken up. Really sweet, saying, hey, I kind of miss you on YouTube. It's like, wow, that's actually cool to hear, so thank you. But then again, it's only been 6 days. The video I wanted to make today is about my year card of 2019, because now we're going into 2020. I see online, by the way, everyone talking about that we're going into the new decade. But are we? I know it's 2020, but I always learned that a decade would be, this decade would still include 2020. And then we're going into the new decade in 2021. But I'm okay with both. And I think that, you know, going into the big 2-0, you could say, is a bit more, I don't know, symbolic in a way. And also that it's 2-2, 2020. Yeah. A lot of cool things you can do with that, right? Anyway, whether you believe we are going into the new decade in 2020 or we are a year ahead saying that, really doesn't matter. I am talking about my year card that I calculated with my birthday that I read in my year of 2019 spread. Some people call it a year ahead spread. I like to do it for myself as well. So you get a card for each month, but then also you get a card with the overall energy of the year that you can, you know, absorb, and you can also calculate your year card, just as you can calculate your birth card. That's all numerology. My card was death. So last year I had the Hanged Man, number 12. And this year it's number 13, Arcanum number 13, also called the Nameless card, the card with no name. This is from the Alchemical Tarot, and I just have a whole bunch of death cards right here. That's what happens when you become a tarot reader or obsessed with tarot. You can show a lot of different cards of different decks. And I was reminded of that. Well, not of that. I was actually reminded of me wanting to do this video by a friend of mine who yesterday messaged me and asked me to send him a few pictures of a few of my death tarot cards because he wanted to get it tattooed, and I think that's really cool. And he's actually going for this one, I think, which is amazing because it's an old alchemical symbol, and that symbol up top here is putrefaction. So with the crow and the arrow and the black sun right there, it's just so full of symbolism and beautiful, and the skeleton, of course. So I will just talk a little bit and show you some of the death cards that I have in this little pile. And it's not even all my decks, but yeah, so we're talking about decay and rebirth and the end of the old to make room for the new, and taking away what is superfluous in order to make room for the new. You can really see it in this death card by the Thoth deck. It's really like, what do you call that? Mowing away, making the soil fertile again. I think that's really beautiful. And see here, because this is a Tarot de Marseille, so you only have the 13 on top and no name. And when I first got into Marseille, I thought, well, maybe it's because you don't want to speak the name of death, because that means that you invite it into your home, if you know what I mean. So kind of a bad luck kind of thing. But later on I realized, you know, by studying the Tarot de Marseille, it means that this isn't actually death. Maybe death is depicted on this card, but the meaning is transformation. This is by Kamwan Jodorowsky. Yeah, it's really about new opportunities that form out of that plowed soil. And Jodorowsky talks about how you can see kind of that this card, the Arcanum number 13, the Arcanum with no name, is actually the skeleton of the Fool, which is the only card in the majors with no number. You see now a lot of Fools with the number 0, and I see that as a symbol as well, of course. But actually a 0 is an Arabic number. It's not a Romeinse cijfers. Yeah. A 0 actually isn't a Roman numeral. But I love that these two are connected. No number, no name. Yeah, so you can safely say that death equals life and life equals death. They're pretty much one and the same, because there's not one without the other. And death is inescapable, and it's for everyone. I love that at a certain point in the major arcana, you notice that there are no crowns anymore, which really makes it as a certain equal ground between all living things, no matter who you are, who you think you are, where you put yourself. There are no crowns anymore at a certain point, because the crown doesn't mean anything. So at first, I had trouble, kind of, seeing how this year I had death as my calculated card. I thought about it, and you know, some things ended, some pretty big, important things did end, but the transformation really was mostly inwards, and it's been happening inside of me. And I am very much this year, I was looking at my old self. So I really was, and really am, but you know, it's a process. But it's really started to, I don't know, just, I know that I needed to look at where energy isn't expressed. And I'm breaking old patterns. And also just overall, this year somehow I was reminded a lot of my own mortality. And somehow related to this is understanding when someone doesn't know what he wants. That was my thing too, understanding my own mortality, or thinking of it at least. Wow, I just noticed a cobweb in my house. Okay. What does that mean? Should I leave it? Where was I? Yeah, my own mortality, that it was related to not knowing what you want. Because it's so hard to make decisions when you don't know what you want. How does that work? How does transformation work? You can, of course, let things just unfold, which is, of course, true. That happens. But I noticed that, of course, I'm not the only one with this thing where sometimes you just don't know, you know? I've been certain of so many big things in my life that it was bound to happen. I ask my tarot clients sometimes, you can read a person when you notice, I should really ask this question now. I just ask them, do you know what you want? Les morts, isn't that cool? Do you know what you want? If they don't, I will change the reading. I will change the way that I read the cards. I will go for more action cards, as in how to find out what it is that you want. Because otherwise, if you don't know what you want, how will you ever not doubt your life choices? It's a big thing, right? Started doing that this year and it has made a change. Let me just find it in the thought deck because it's right here, and even though I was working with my centennial, I can show this one as my overall energy of 2019 card. It's gonna be the last one. Is it? I mean, honestly, that's just okay, here it is. This card is so beautiful. I also love it in the Rider-Waite-Smith. In this deck, it's called the Universe. In the Rider-Waite-Smith, it's called the World. So that was my overall energy of 2019. So between death and the world, that's how I like to work with these two cards, with these two information. Between death and the world, I really do see power, electricity, just there is a whole, there is integration and return to purity. So you need both of these for authenticity, right? And I know some people say you are never your true authentic self because you are, what's that word, an amalgamation? Is that the right word? I don't know. I've been studying alchemy. An amalgamation of what other people have said to you. But that doesn't matter. You can integrate. That's really what I see here as well. And look at what is true for you, and then with all of that information, I think you do need a lot of information in order to find out who you are. You can check with yourself and then you come to your truer core. That makes sense? Anyway, I also had some goals for 2019, and I have my book here. Be more decisive. Find balance and integration between or within work and play, and get closer to nature. Be more decisive. I'm doing it. Get closer to nature. I've made some effort. I really needed to make the steps, make the effort in order to make this happen this year. This summer I went to Schwarzwald with my partner and our dog, and it was amazing. Every day we went for like 11 days, and in the middle of nowhere. Every day we went for a new walk or hike, whatever you want to call it, in a new part of the forest, and every time it was just as if you were in another fairy tale forest. One time it was such beautiful skinny high trees. Every time it looked like an archway, so beautiful. And Another time it was those big, I don't know, not pine trees, but you know what I mean. Really dense and dark green. And we saw so many wild animals, and we had to keep our dog on a leash because she tried to chase a beautiful deer with the entire antlers and everything. Once he just crossed right in front of us, and she just went for it. She's a pit bull, so she's pretty quick and strong. But yeah, she couldn't keep up with him, so we were happy about that. We saw many other things as well, but yes, it was so good to just breathe that air and to be there for that reason and really just find a sense of calm after a hectic year. Yeah. And then better work-life balance, you could call it. And to that I say yes. So yeah, it all works together. In order to have that work-life balance, I need to be more decisive and not afraid of making certain decisions. And in order to get closer to nature, I need a healthy amount of free time, which is linked to making those decisions as well, and which finally comes back to work, free time balance. Yeah, I'm doing it. Those are good goals to have anyway. I also chose 3 cards for the intentions that I wrote down here for 2019. And the card for work free time balance was, yeah, because it was also linked to having enough energy and my health, the Queen of Pentacles. Okay, so taking care of oneself. Get closer to nature. The Empress, apparently, I chose. Well, you know, you can see her as the Great Mother, so that's possible. And then that card I did not forget because it showed up this year. It showed up like crazy, and I love that guy now. I love him. The King of Swords, as be more decisive. Make decisions. Be clear in your head. Heir of air. Oh, I just love him now. And he used to be kind of in shadow, I can tell you. Yeah. So anyway, I also got the Druidcraft this year. I had it in the past and didn't click with it, and then it came out again in 2019, and I'm mentioning this because I really do see this deck, because it's so green and pagan, you can even say, that it is part of my wish to get closer to nature, my wish to feel the earth, to go ahead and go make some trips to touch the earth or touch some stones and feel some kind of energy or feel the warmth of the stones. And I think you know where I'm getting at. I want to go to Glastonbury, to London, to everything. I'm just saying these 2 things, but to all of the historical sites. Well, maybe not all of them, I won't have time, but just to soak up all of that deep-rooted history of the land. So I'm planning my trip to England for 2020 because I think I need it. So obviously, since this year my card of the year was Death, or Arcanum number 13, next year will be 14, Temperance. Isn't this a beautiful card? I pulled this one, I think 2 days ago. It's the art of alchemy, of mixing, of combining. The great work. So 2020 will no doubt be interesting, of me needing to incorporate this energy. And I, of course, don't know what my overall energy card will be of 2020, but I'm eager to see how that relates to Temperance. Let me know what is your card of 2019. You can use the hashtag MyYearCard2019, and I will leave how to calculate your year card in the description below in case you don't know and want to participate. So that's it for now. Bye. Man, that took long. Okay.